Alright, what is up guys? Today we've got a pretty fun video, nothing too exciting. It's going to be doing an unboxing of some stuff that I ordered for the Eclipse. This is basically everything I needed to get and install prior to the actual turbo process. There's a couple things I still have to buy, but I can get them at like auto parts stores or wherever. This is the stuff that I had to actually order online that I wouldn't be able to get. Also, just to keep your guys' attention, I'm going to go ahead and just set this turbo right here. You guys already know this turbo. This is the one for the DSM. That'll just keep you guys entertained, give you something to look at in case I'm being a little boring. So let's start with one of them. So everything in here is basically battery relocation stuff, and I believe one of these has a catch can, and then there's another little, I guess, bonus thing that really has nothing to do with the turbo setup in here, but it'll be fun. And I'm using this really crappy pocket knife thing because I couldn't find my good one, and I don't even know which of these is the actual useful knife. This thing sits a lot and I can't even get the thing open. This thing's a piece of shit. Alright, now the knife is open and I can cut this. I think this one should be the fan wiring kit. I don't know exactly what's in which bag, but I can guess some of them just by their weight. So, let's see here. Always cut towards yourself. And yep, that looks like the box. I bought this before for the Dakota actually, but I bought the kit that comes with the fans as well. This, since the Eclipse fans don't work, but they're still there, I'm going to try to wire them up with the same wiring kit I used to wire the Dakota fans, and hopefully they'll work. And if nothing else, this thing has an override switch, like a manual override, so I can turn it on whenever I need to, and I'll at least just be able to watch it and turn the fans on. It'll be better than having no fans at all. So yeah, fan wiring kit. This might be the short shifter. I bought a short shifter for the car just because I could, and well, let's get into that. If it's not the short shifter, I don't know what else it would be. It could be the catch can. I ordered an oil catch can. That looks like shifter parts. Yep, it is. There's foam. Holy crap. There it is. That is the short shifter for the DSM. It just replaces certain pieces of the actual shifter handle itself. I don't know how much. I don't know how it goes together. But we're going to find out. I didn't really need this, but I wanted it just because. Plus, I think the shifter on the car has been chopped at one point by somebody. Like somebody chopped it shorter to make a ghetto short shifter, kind of like what was done to the Golf, which I've actually fixed. I'll show you guys that at some point. But short shifters are one of the, like, those really fun, satisfying things to install. It's one of those things where it doesn't make the car faster, but it makes it more fun to drive and a lot easier to drive, and that looks beautiful. So alright, this one, actually I honestly don't have a clue what this one is. It feels like it might be my zero gauge wire for my battery relocation. So, because I've ordered this multiple times, the same bundle of wire from the same company that comes in, I think this is a 25 or a 30 foot roll, if that's what this is. And I always buy it's called Microflex. It's zero gauge. It's really easy to bend and stuff, and it looks good. So yeah, there's nothing else in there. There is the zero gauge. So not much to look at. I believe this is 25 or 30 feet of zero gauge wire. This will just run straight from basically the stock battery's location all the way inside of the car and relocate the battery. When you're relocating a battery, you have to use super heavy gauge wire. Your standard 8 gauge or whatever is not enough. You're going to have to go at least 4 gauge depending on how far away from the battery you're going, and you have to use heavy duty wire. And this is like audio performance wire. I use this to do it on the Dakota. I use this to do it on my old Jeep. And I did try to relocate the battery on the Mustang with 4 gauge or 8 gauge, and it failed miserably. So yeah, easy way to do it. And you can buy giant rolls like that, and also buy a giant pack of the ring terminals, which I already have, so I didn't have to buy more. You buy all that stuff and you can just make your own wires and stuff. It's really nice. That way if like a starter wire or battery wire goes bad, just upgrade it with zero gauge and you're done. You don't have to buy it either, which is nice. I honestly don't know what this one is. Oh, this... Okay, I know what this is. That... Holy shit, that thing is bigger than it looked in the pictures. What the hell? That's cool. This is a bus bar or a giant power block, power terminal thing. This is what I would basically use to relocate the battery. So the power wire from the battery up into the engine bay will hook up to one of these posts. I'll probably hook the starter, the wire that runs directly to the starter, up to this. The alternator wire will hook up to here somewhere. All the other little wires, there's little tiny bolts in there that you guys can't see. This makes everything real nice and neat looking, and it makes it super easy to add more wires to stuff. I love this thing. This thing's really cool. I've actually never bought one of these. I made one out of an old power block for like a subwoofer thing once, but I've never actually bought a proper one, so this is pretty cool. And this is 250 amp. You can buy these from the auto parts store, but they are only like up to 100 amps, I believe. They don't have the big ones that you would need to run your starter. So this is perfect. This one, and what do I have left? I don't even remember. Oh, this one should be the catch can. I know what that one is. I think this one's the catch can. Let me try not to cut my hand open here. These things are super cheap, and if you're running a turbo, they're very nice to have for your PCV system, and it's all boxed up, and something poked a hole in the back of the box was on its way here. Let's see if we can get into this thing a little bit. This one is red to match the car, and this one, I never used the shitty hose that they give you with it. This stuff is like garden hose stuff. Like, I don't understand. I always get like fuel hose or something from the auto parts store because this stuff sucks. But the actual can itself is very, very nice. Holy shit, that thing is huge. Okay, let's pull this thing out of the bubble wrap. There it is. This thing is really big. The one on the Golf was a lot smaller. This thing is ginormous. And that barb fitting got smashed during shipment. That kind of fucking sucks. But I guess it's not the end of the world. It must be the drain, which doesn't make any sense because they didn't give me a plug for it. But, oh well. I can get a vacuum plug or something for that. I'm assuming that's the drain because one of these would be in, the other would be out, and I don't know. It's cool though, and it's got the little sight on the side and all that, so it's got bolt holes right here. This is where the mounting bracket goes. This is a much nicer one than what I bought for the Golf. This one's a little bit better. Of course, that kind of sucks. The one in the Golf has a drain plug on the bottom you screw out, which would be nice. But I guess they wanted to be weird with that. Oh well. Nice catch can though, and it was cheap, so I'm not worried about it. And since that barb fitting is just the drain, at least that's what it looks like. It's the only thing it could possibly be. It's not a big deal that it got smashed. I'll just throw like a vacuum plug or something over it. I really don't understand why they didn't give me something to block it off with. Oh well, that's eBay for you though. And the final thing. This was something I bought just because I wanted it. It was cheap, and it'll help me see at night. This is an 8000K HID kit. This is just one of the ones where you just change your bulbs out and plug the ballast in and you're done. This isn't like a projector kit, so nobody get mad at me. The lights on the Eclipse should allow me to get away with running these without being a total asshole to everybody else on the road. I'll probably show you guys in a video when I install them, but I've never bought from this brand before. These were like 25 bucks. Really cheap. The brand GS High Intensity Automotive Lighting. Never heard of this brand before at all. Don't have any idea who they are, but they have their own boxes and their own packaging, so that's kind of cool. I'll probably read it and see if I can find any typos in it, because it's probably some Chinese shit. But we can open it up and take a look. Redesigned to save space but still carry a full digital ballast. Yeah, it's the mini ballast. That sucks. Oh well. Let's see here. This one has the bulbs in it. If you've never seen an HID bulb, it's just this really elongated bulb. Nothing too special. It's got this plastic cover on it to protect it. There's the wire harnesses in the back. For some reason, these have the high beam connector on them. It looks like. I don't know. Oh no, they don't. Never mind. Looked like they had a high beam connection on them. That's just another wire harness right there for the ballast stuck to them. And the ballasts are going to be little tiny ones. I actually have a full-sized one sitting over here. I'll compare the sizes, I suppose. I got the kit that I bought from HID Extra. They gave me an extra ballast when I warrantied the one that went bad, which was pretty cool of them. Oh yeah, those are tiny. That right there is really, really small. That is puny. And the wire harness, that was the wire harness for these. That was attached to the lights as well. But this, compared to the full-size HID Extra one, that is the difference right there. These are the ones I prefer, these big ones, but this little one should do fine. If it goes bad, I'll just buy HID Extra stuff for it, but hopefully they'll work. Hopefully they'll last. These are only 35 watt ones that I bought, so they shouldn't be too bright, but it is, those lights on that Eclipse are pathetic. I can't see anything at night, and I work third shift and drive at night all the time, so it's kind of important. But oh, and they say that they're a long life DOT technology. I'm calling bullshit on that, but they look alright. They'll do the job. I'll be able to see. They'll look good. The HIDs look really nice. They're 8000K. I didn't want to go too white or too blue. 8000K is just a nice, kind of a happy medium basically to go with. So yeah, that is it. The only thing I ordered that isn't here is some hub-centric rings for the car, but those aren't very exciting, and I probably won't make a video installing them. So before we end this video, I'm going to go out and do an update on the car. I've done a few things just off camera that weren't really video worthy. A lot of it was stuff that I've done to the Golf or other things in the past, made videos on multiple times, and I'm not just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So let's head out to the Eclipse and show you guys what I've done. Alright, so you guys already know about the crash bar that I put on. I actually just finished it today. Technically, I'm making this video right after finishing the video of the crash bar because I wanted to get some daytime shots. But I've done a few things to it. I put a new rear wiper on it. I got OEM taillights finally. I don't have the middle piece, but I got the actual taillights. One of the local junkyards, or not local, but it's an hour away, but they had GS, so it was a beautiful clean car, had these taillights, but the middle one was cracked, so I grabbed those. It also has a rust-free hatch that doesn't have holes drilled in it, and it's a newer one, so it's got the better looking wing on it. So as long as there aren't holes hidden underneath of this wing, I'm going to take that hatch and put it on this car. Did a few things to the interior. The car has a radio now. It's just chilling in here because I don't have a mount, but it works. But the wiring is shot for the back speakers, so I'm gonna have to run new wires back to them, but it works. Got a phone charger and this little 12-volt power source, which I use for this Harbor Freight heater, so I now have a defroster as well, or like a defogger for when it's raining and shit, which is very, very nice to have. Or a place to switch. The old one used to not plug in. This one's a black one instead of a gray one. This one came out of a TSI Talon actually that I found at the junkyard, but the motor and trains were already pulled out of it. It's not a big deal. Got a first gen steering wheel. This one came out of a Plymouth Laser, bolted straight in, was super easy. I was gonna make a video on it, but I got impatient and got kind of excited, so I just did it. I also removed some of this plastic shit from up here because it broke when I was changing the steering wheel and I wasn't worried about it. Not a whole lot else in here. I changed the back speakers out. I put these Sonys back here because I thought it was the speakers that were blowing, but as it turns out it's just the wiring that's shitty, which that in itself is shitty, so oh well, that sucks. Whatever. And aside from just wiring some stuff and putting a couple little things in, I didn't do a whole lot. I fixed the wire harness in the back, and I got the gaskets in the taillights, which is very, very nice to have again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really know. I thought I had done more, but I guess not. Oh, I guess I'll pop the hood and show you what I did down there. I didn't do much, but I did clean it. It looks a lot better. I also polished my reverse lights. That's one of the things. I sanded these some more and wet sanded them some more and got them real nice and polished. They look way better and they light up better. put this tip on here. I got rid of just the plain pipe and put this tip on it. This is one of those AutoZone bolt-on ones, but I actually cut the back and welded a pipe to it and got it to clamp down to my exhaust. So it sort of functions as a muffler, but it doesn't actually make the car quieter at all, which is whatever, not a big deal. I repainted this and then I screwed that up right there, but oh well. And now we can pop the hood. Basically all I've done under the hood is I cleaned the engine bay. I cleaned all that crud out right there. There's still power steering fluid pissing out of it a little bit, but it's not as bad. So I cleaned like over here. I cleaned the valve cover off a little bit. I cleaned everything up here a tiny bit. Cleaned over here. Did a little bit of other shit. Just mostly cleaning, zip tying stuff out of the way. It has a new O2 sensor down there. Finally got it. The old plug was totally ripped apart, so I had to just literally solder the O2 sensor directly to the wires, which kind of sucks, but it works now. The car is actually a little bit quicker now that it has an O2 sensor and knows what it's doing. I need to zip tie that up or something. But yeah, car's running a lot better. Still has an idle issue. I've figured out that the speed sensor is bad, so that might be the reason this thing has such a problem. I'm going to replace the speed sensor and see if that solves it. If replacing the speed sensor doesn't solve all of my idling issues, then I'm going to have to find a new ECU for this thing, because I'm pretty sure that's the only other thing I haven't replaced on this car. I've tried changing the map sensor, throttle position sensor, idle air control valve, O2 sensor, everything, and nothing seems to solve it. One thing I did notice though is that when the car is moving, it does the idle thing a lot worse, and there's a speed sensor back there which is on the back of the trans, and I've noticed that it does slowly count miles on the odometer. You can see it says 3.4 right now, and it's an electronic one. It's not cable driven, it's electronic. So I think, I'm going to try to explain myself. I think what it's doing is the car thinks that it's moving, but it's moving too slowly, and fuel injected cars will do a thing where they'll try to make you not stall them out, or at least newer ones do. The Golf does the same thing, where if you take off slow and you almost stall it out and you have the clutch completely let out, it'll open the throttle up and try to save it from dying. And I think the car thinks that it's traveling so slowly and you have the clutch released and it's just freaking out because it's like, we're not moving, we need to move, we need to move, we need to move, even though you are moving, but it doesn't know it is. I think that is the reason it has such a horrible idle issue. I'm going to replace the speed sensor. If that doesn't solve it, then we're going to have to get a new ECU for it, and then it's going to get to a point where it's like, do I hope I can find one, or do I try to put a Mega Squirt on here? I don't know. This thing really isn't worth Mega Squirting, but if I have to, that's, you know, basically what it would come down to. So yeah, that's it. That's the unboxing. It's a quick update on the car. Not a whole lot's been done to it, but I wanted to show it to you guys. And yep, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Also, make sure to go and check out 802 Garage and see what he's doing with his Eclipse build. And I will see you guys later.